Hello, good evening. You're all welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be discussing excretion. And so today we are going to be discussing this concept in biology and not necessarily microbiology. So excretion, what's excretion? Excretion is the way and manner in which living organisms are able to get rid of waste, all sorts of waste materials from within their body. Now, as they go through all their life processes, they go through a lot of metabolic reactions, and these metabolic reactions they generate a lot of byproducts of these mechanisms, and these byproducts must be excreted from within the body. The body must get rid of these byproducts, because if the body doesn't get rid of these byproducts, there tends to be a buildup of toxic substances, and this buildup of toxic substances will clog the system such that the living organisms won't be able to continue, all their life processes. So this is why excretion is very, very important. Metabolic activities have to generate these byproducts that have to be gotten out of the body. Now, different kinds of organisms excrete different types of materials. Here, mammals, for an example, usually excrete urine, and they excrete in their sweat. So mammals do a lot of that. They excrete urine, they excrete in their sweat. When it comes to birds and reptiles, they excrete a lot of urea and uric acid, which contains a lot of nitrogenous substances. Now, plants excrete a lot of a lot of resins and a lot of tannins. A lot of resins and tannins are what plants usually excrete, and birds can excrete urea and uric acid. Now, just to discuss a little bit, we'll look at some of the organs or structures that are used as excretory structures by different organisms. We'll just look at a few of them in this class. Now, the first one we'll look at is the contractile vacuole. The contractile vacuole is an excretory structure that can be found in a lot of protozoa, a lot of freshwater protozoa like paramecium, like euglena, like amoeba. A lot of them contain the contractile vacuole. Now, what does the contractile vacuole do? The contractile vacuole collects nitrogenous waste from within the cell, and when it reaches a full capacity, it finds its way to the edge of the cell, and it excretes all these materials by contracting and pushing out all the materials that it has gathered within itself. And that's how it got the name contractile vacuole. It contracts to push out all these waste materials. And you can find contractile vacuole in amoeba, paramecium, and some of these organisms. This is important to know. Now, there's also another excretory organ that we call the flame cell. The flame cell can be found in flatworms. Flatworms have a lot of flame cells, and these flame cells, they are there and they help to excrete all sorts of nitrogenous waste from inside the bodies of flame cells. Now, the cells of this, from inside the bodies of flatworms. Now, these flame cells usually are nucleated cells. They are cells that have nucleuses, and they help for excretion within flatworms. Now, when we leave flame cells, we also come to nephridia. Nephridia are popular. They are really popular because they are osmoregulatory structures that can be found in a lot of worms. They help these worms to excrete a lot of nitrogenous waste. And nephridia are important because they are found in every segment of segmented worms. So worms that have a lot of segments, within each segment you have this structure, nephridia, and is there to excrete nitrogenous waste. So it gathers waste all from within the cilium, that is the body cavity of the worm, and takes this waste all the way, into different segments, and then helps to pass out this waste from the anus and from the body of the worms. So the nephridia are important. Now, apart from nephridia, we also have a structure called Malpighian tubules. Malpighian tubules is another excretory structure which can be found in a lot of myriapoda, arachnida, centipedes, millipedes. All these kind of organisms carry these Malpighian tubules, and they are important. They help also insects also carry Malpighian tubules, and they help to excrete materials. They usually open out. That's the Malpighian tubules open out to pores and openings on the bodies of these organisms, and they help them to excrete all sorts of nitrogenous waste. Then when we come to higher animals have kidneys. We have, like humans, mammals now have two sets of kidneys which are bean shaped, and they're just below the rib cage, and they are there to filter out blood. Each kidney filters about half a cup of blood within a minute, and as this blood is filtered, all sorts of poisonous substances or byproducts of metabolism are filtered out of the blood, and when you filter them out, what is formed is urine, and this urine is usually stored in the bladder until the bladder's capacity is reached, the bladder becomes full, and then this is passed out from within the human body. It's also important to know that for humans also excrete using their skin, and they excrete a lot of sweat, and within that sweat you have a lot of water, we have a lot of salt, we have a lot of mineral salts. That's why the sweat tastes salty. So this is important to know. Now when it comes to plants, also plants, remember I said they excrete resins and tannins. Now the plants by themselves, they majorly use stoma or stomata and the lenticels. Stoma can be found on leaves and the lenticels can be found on stem. Now a lot of water and nutrients or byproducts are lost through a process called transpiration in the stoma, or guttation in the lenticels. That is how the plants are able to excrete all of their waste products. Thank you for listening to this lecture. Please remember to like our content, share our content, and subscribe to our channel. Have a wonderful day.